Good morning, everyone. This is Rob Kenny with Kantech. We'll be starting in about 5 to 7 minutes. We have a very full attendee list today. Just checking audio. If someone could please respond in the chat that you're hearing my voice. Fantastic. Hello, Mr. Edler. How are we doing today? Okay, we're going to get started in about 2 minutes. Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Kantech webinar series, where today we'll be talking about the audit trail capability within the EntraPass software. My name is Rob Kenny. I will be your host for today. Tom is on a week off this week, so he'll be back next week. So those of you missing the sound of Tom's wonderful voice, you'll hear it again next week when we continue with our webinar series on Monday. Today, as mentioned, we're going to be talking about the audit trail capability that we released in version 8.1 of the EntraPass software. It's available in all software suites, whether it's special edition, corporate edition, or global edition software. We are now at version 8.22, so it's still in the 8.22 software. So we'll discuss that here a little bit today. I will be trying to view questions in the Q&A chat from the webinar. I'm having some difficulties looking at all the questions, but if you do have questions as we move forward, please just throw them in the chat, and I will do my very best to read them and answer them. Okay, so with that being said, here is audit trail. So what is an audit trail? Well, for years, Kantech has been really good at reporting within the software. But did you ever want to know within a component who did what to whom? That's what the audit trail does. It allows us to break down in greater detail within a component of the software what was done within that component. Okay, so we have a variety of applications where this can be enabled, and I will show you this live. This is a kind of a two-parter with the webinar series. We do part of it in the PowerPoint presentation, and then we show it to you live if we can within the software. So we'll take a look and see how things work within the software. Okay. So it's available for all programming menus. Whether it's your device list or your schedules or your holidays or your access levels, or most importantly your cards and your operators, all of that is available, and the records can be retained for up to 5 years or 16 transactions per field. Okay, most people that I have found that have deployed this in the annual basis, whether they're retaining it for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, up to 5 years of data. Okay. Now, what are we talking about? We're talking about auditing specific components. So within the application, what you'll notice is you'll have this cylindrical rainbow-looking icon in those fields, and that's going to give you the ability to audit what's going on. So in this particular snapshot, we're looking at the operator fields, and we're able to audit what's gone on with the operator. So what this field does, it audits everything an operator has affected within the application. Now, we have a report that does some of this, right, in the operator report, but this goes into a little bit better detail, number one. Number two, it gives you an exportable CSV file from within that screen. Okay, so it's a quicker, easier type of reporting tool. As mentioned, within the reporting tool, you'll see on the right-hand side when you're looking at something whether this operator created it, as there'll be a green highlighted icon on the left-hand side. If it was modified, indicated by a blue, or if it was deleted, indicated by a red box. Okay, down below the area, you'll see what was done and by whom. Okay, if you were to right-click in this area down on the bottom here, you'd be able to export that via CSV for more advanced auditing. Okay, because once you're in a CSV or an Excel spreadsheet, now you can determine by column how you want to lay things out. Okay. So with that being said, let's get into the software application to take a look at it. And we'll look at this live. So first things first, within the application, we'll go to the Options tab. And in the Options tab, we'll click on the System Parameters icon. And this is where you will enable the audit trail within the software. Okay. So in the System Parameters tab, there's an Audit Trail tab back in the back. When we select this, here's where you'll determine whether you're going to return it for a certain number of days. And as you can see with the mouse hover, 1825 is the maximum value. That is a 5-year period of time. Or you can obtain audit the retention number of records, which maximum value here is 16. Okay. And then really all you're going to do down the bottom here is select the fields within the software application. And again, there's just a couple to choose from. Okay. So we can see within the application itself what fields we want to audit. Now, there are a couple that come defaulted, like the access level and the card and the operator, all come defaulted for you. Okay. But you can enable anything within here. So I'm going to very quickly enable my schedules. Okay, because I want to audit if someone's changing a time frame or a day frame or enabling holidays within a schedule. So when I check the box, that now becomes enabled for audit. Okay, so now if I quickly bounce over to my definition tab and I look at my schedules, what you'll see is that round cylindrical rainbow looking icon. Okay, and here I have a couple of schedules that are predefined. Right, so now some of them are not auditable. Right, this was created before the audit trail was enabled. So now if I were to create a new schedule and I were to make this one say 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, no holidays. Okay, once I plug in my time here of 0700 to 1900. Okay, when I save this, if I go into my audit trail here now, I see the 7 to 7 schedule was created. Okay, so here's my create button. It was created by the installer. And here's the fields that were affected. As mentioned before, if I were to right click in this field, I can export this via CSV. So I can export the individual line or the entire field. All right. Now, where this becomes very important for people is if someone were to come in here and say, extend the time to 2000 hours. Now, if I run that audit trail, I can see that this particular installer adjusted a value. Okay, and this can then be exported to find out what was done. Okay, so we see the creation of the event and we see the auditing of the event. Okay, and by whom. Okay, the same is true for your access levels and your card holders by default. So if someone came in and edited this particular access level, for example, I could run an audit on that access level to find out what was done and by whom. Okay, and then again, I can right click and I can export this field. Okay, this is a quick, easy way for you to run a very detailed report based upon the application that you're looking to generate. Many industries are looking for this type of reporting tool so that they can do a deep dive into specifically what cardholder information was changed, what access level information was changed, what schedule information was changed, rather than having to mend a couple different reports or write a specific script within the software to actually run the report they need. So by having this feature in here, which again was enabled in 8.1, we have the ability to do these deep dives of reporting. Right? And this becomes very important for regulatory information and for those customers that are just looking for a more detailed trail of what was done within the software. Okay. Now in the System tab, here's the audit field again, and this is for the operators. okay? And I can take a look at what particular operator had adjusted what particular components during a certain time and date, okay? So if I were to run this for the last week, just to see what was done, right, I can see that this particular operator has made these changes, okay? And again, anything in this field is exportable, okay? So if I were to hold my shift key down, or excuse me, that feature is not yet enabled. It's one of the features that we asked to be enabled. I can right click and I can export the entire field via CSV and then paste it into a design folder for a little more detailed reporting. Okay. I know that was very quick, but there's really not a whole lot to go through with the audit field. Just remember, in the options tab in the system parameters, there's the audit tab back here that you can literally check any box you want. Okay. Now this does add to the size of your database, but it is very, very nominal. I've got a customer that's got about 8,000 cardholders and about 900 doors, and they enabled the audit trail, and I think their database grew by about 50 meg. That's about it. So it's not that big of a transactional hit on your system there. Okay. So with that, if there's any type of questions, will audit be coming to EntraPass Web Tyco hosted? Eventually, yes. Right now, it's not quite there, but we are looking at enabling it in the web. And once it is, then it's just a feature that can be unlocked in any of the hosted applications. Let me see if I can see any more of the questions here. That looks to be the only question I can see in this field. If there's any other questions, please feel free to ask in the QA. And I'll do my level best to answer them for you. I don't see anything else coming in. So with that, we will adjourn. I want to thank you guys for attending, and we look forward to seeing you guys again next week when we continue the webinars on Monday and then again on Wednesday of next week. Okay. Thank you, folks.
My bad.